Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. You know, Claude Code completely changed the AI programming landscape, didn't it? It gave us this incredible agentic terminal assistant that just reads code bases and commits changes autonomously. It's like magic. But what if I told you that you could get similar and credible power for absolutely $0? Today, our goal is to find the perfect budget-friendly AI coding assistant for your specific setup. We're going to explore the best free AI coding assistants and open source alternatives being used right now by developers, engineers, and students. Let's get into it. Look, we've got to acknowledge right out the gate that Claude Code is a phenomenal tool. It dominates the developer space for a very good reason. But for pragmatic engineers, students, or open source maintainers, its pricing model is a real pain point. There's no free tier, right? Heavy users find themselves constantly hitting these quota ceilings, which essentially forces them into expensive subscription upgrades just to get through a sprint. So what if you didn't have to pay monthly rent for your coding partner? So here's our game plan, structured kind of like a clean GitHub README. We're going to hit the Claude Code problem, define what free actually means in 2026, compare the absolute best CLI agents, explore visual IDE extensions, and finally, help you choose your ideal workflow. All right, Section 1, the Claude Code problem, looking specifically at cost and lock-in. And this brilliantly illustrates the core dilemma. Anthropic built an incredible tool, but heavy users get boxed in fast. On one hand, you have Claude Code starting at $20 a month for the Pro tier. It locks you entirely into Anthropic's models, so no GPT-5, no Gemini, no Quen, and it's strictly cloud only. Your code literally has to leave your machine. Contrast that with the open source alternatives. $0 base costs, the flexibility to route different tasks to totally different models, and full support for local, air-gapped privacy. To really put this into perspective, just look at this number, $200. That is the monthly cost of Claude Code's Max 20X tier. You see, back in late March 2026, rate limits were tightened really sharply during peak hours. Heavy users who were just burning through the standard tiers in a matter of days were pushed toward this $200 tier, or forced to scramble for cheaper multi-model fallbacks. When your AI assistant starts costing as much as a car payment, yeah, it's definitely time to explore the open source ecosystem. Moving on to Section 2. Let's define free AI coding. What does free actually mean in 2026? You're going to hear this acronym a lot today, BYOK, or Bring Your Own Key. Basically, this is a setup where the open source tool itself doesn't cost a dime, but you pay API providers, like Anthropic, OpenAI, or Google, directly for the inference costs, the actual compute you use. For a lot of developers, skipping that $20 subscription floor and just paying exactly for what they use ends up being incredibly cost-effective. So breaking down the taxonomy of free tools, we've essentially got three main paths here. First up, truly free, where tools like Gemini CLI give you a wildly generous daily quota at no cost whatsoever. Second, you have free tool plus BYOK, where you're just paying fractions of a cent for API calls. And third, and honestly maybe the most exciting, is free plus local models. By pairing these open source tools with a local runner like Llama, you get a completely free, 100% private solution, assuming your rig can handle it. Okay, Section 3, the best CLI agents are terminal native warriors. These are designed specifically for devs who love the exact command line workflow of Claude Code, but just want better pricing and flexibility. Running through the heavy hitters here, we've got Gemini CLI, packing Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro model. Next is Aider, which is super mature, supports any model, and specializes in Git-centric commits. Then there's OpenCode, boasting a visual terminal user interface with support for over 75 providers using a local-first architecture. And rounding it out is OpenHands, which is this massive open source project designed to autonomously open end-to-end pull requests for you. Now, what's really interesting about this is just how generous the Gemini CLI free tier actually is. If you grab a free Google AI Studio key, you're getting 1,000 requests a day using a model that has a 1 million token context window. It has built-in Google search grounding, and it can even process images and PDFs right there in your terminal. For your well-scoped everyday coding tasks, it is an absolutely phenomenal, truly free substitute. But if you're chasing the absolute closest match to Claude Code's terminal vibe with ultimate flexibility, you've got to look at Aider. The data shows it's the most widely adopted substitute for a reason. Its maturity is just unmatched. The best feature? The ability to swap model providers with a single flag. Literally, you can use GPT-5 for a complex architectural change and then seamlessly swap over to a local, free model for standard boilerplate. all in the exact same terminal session. Let's shift gears to Section 4, Powerful IDE AI Extensions, focusing on visual coding. Let's move to and see how this builds a totally different developer experience. Working inside a graphical IDE gives you massive visual advantages. You get plan/act modes, which let you actually approve an AI's plan before it completely scrambles your codebase. You get beautiful inline diffs with simple accept or reject controls, native integration with your file explorer, and built-in cost trackers. That way, you know exactly how many pennies a session is costing you if you're rocking a BYOK setup. The two heavyweights stepping into the ring here are Cline and Continue.dev. Cline is a VS Code native extension that arguably offers the deepest agentic capabilities in the free category. It features this incredible Model Context Protocol, or MCP integration, for things like browser automation and database access. On the flip side, Continue.dev is uniquely valuable because it actually supports JetBrains IDEs, think IntelliJ and PyCharm, along with VS Code. It gives you inline autocomplete and local model chat, filling a massive gap that even some of the pricey paid tools ignore. All right, final stretch. Section 5, choosing your ideal workflow. If maximum privacy and zero cost are your top priorities, here is how ridiculously accessible it is today. Step 1, install a free agent like Aider for your terminal or Cline for VS Code. Step 2, install a Llama, the free local model runner. Step 3, download a capable local model. Qwen 3 Coder is proving to be fantastic for everyday tasks. And Step 4, turn off your Wi-Fi and just code. No data leaves your machine, there are no subscriptions, and zero API costs. The whole shebang is entirely yours. So the crucial point is matching the right tool to your specific dev profile. If you want zero cost with absolutely zero local setup, go grab the Gemini CLI. If you demand visual, approval-gated workflows inside VS Code, install Client. If you need 100% offline privacy, it's gotta be Aider or Cline paired with Ollama. And if you're looking to replace your editor entirely with a full AI-native IDE, Cursor's freemium tier is a really excellent, albeit slightly more rigid, starting point. And make no mistake, the open ecosystem is catching up at breakneck speed. Just look at this benchmark data. Cursor's own built-in Composer 2.5 model is literally tying Anthropic's flagship Claude Opus 4.7 on complex multilingual coding benchmarks, and it's doing it at roughly a tenth of the per-token cost on their standard tier. The kind of capabilities that used to require a massive corporate subscription are being democratized at an absolutely astonishing rate. We've covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, navigating the incredible surge of free open-source coding assistance here in 2026. The technology is definitively shifting power back to the developer's local machine. So I leave you with this to ponder. As these open-source tools and local models continue to match the corporate giants, will your next AI pair programmer be a rented service you pay for every single month, or an open tool you own and control completely? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy coding.